Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Kotaku because we've been talking a lot about Kotaku lately. Now, for those of you who don't know, Kotaku is a rather infamous video game website that seems to have an inordinate amount of power and influence in the video game industry. Everybody seems terrified of Kotaku.
But they could barely get sold before.
They could barely get sold before. We're going to talk about this because I am trying to figure out why everyone is so damn afraid of Kotaku. What prompted the video was actually the situation with MagFest over the weekend, where they made the joke about Kotaku's journalistic integrity coming up with a 404 error in regards to an article that Kotaku did on them last year, accusing them of hosting a super spreader event without doing due diligence, basic research.
They were actually very, very strict about mandates and mask stuff and all that crap.
More strict than most conventions.
And a lot of conventions and a lot of places are, you go to any convention, even with strict rules in place. If somebody gets in that's sick, and they don't know they're sick, and other people don't know they're sick, everybody's gonna get sick. It's just the way it is. Yeah, so that didn't sit very well with them. They made a joke. They had to pull it down because they got pressure. I think it's funny. They got pressure from journalists and people that are part of the gaming community, and they took it down. And of course, we saw the situation with Troy Levitt, who was the developer on Hogwarts Legacy, constantly getting name checked. Every time they mention Hogwarts Legacy, they always throw in a reference to Troy Levitt to remind you that he made YouTube videos they don't like right.
7 or 8 years ago.
They usually associate derogatory, naming, labeling with it.
Right, and Kotaku was, of course, at ground zero for GG. And
we weren't there.
We weren't there.
I have to keep specifying that because there's a bunch of dumbasses out there who keep putting us on lists. It's like, we weren't even around then. I mean, we were doing things, but we had nothing to do with gaming.
We were doing comics and stuff then.
We were working comics. Yeah. We didn't care.
But it does seem like there is something going on. It's almost like there are certain individuals that want to kick off a GG 2.0. Why anybody would want that? I used to think that's ridiculous. Why would you want to revisit that? And now I'm looking at the numbers and I'm like, oh, okay, because outrage views and outrage clicks are still views and clicks and ad revenue. So this is going to be a video talking about how Kotaku on YouTube, first of all, gets significantly fewer views than G4 TV got, and they got the plug pulled on them because they weren't bringing any views. And also, we're going to delve into some speculation, as people who run websites, who have run websites for a number of years and who are familiar with the advertising economy right now.
Economy? Sorry, I can do it too.
I have to speak slowly for the people who can't hear what we were saying.
I can't speak slowly. I try. I just can't do it. I'm sorry.
So we're going to talk about a number of things, and I think the purpose of this video is to try to dismantle the notion that game publishers, game developers should be afraid of Kotaku. I don't think there's really anything to be afraid of. I don't think that they have the power that they used to have. I think that they are coasting off of a reputation they had built for themselves 10 or 12 years ago, that if you wanted to get seen, found, applauded, you had to go through Kotaku, and that is simply not the case right now. And in fact, I think they're in much bigger trouble than they're letting on. I think the journalists working there know what kind of trouble the company is actually in. And they're not going to tip their hand because they don't want the chuds to win.
But Gawker hasn't taught them anything.
Yes, Gawker hasn't taught them anything. So we're going to talk about all of this in a very special episode of Clownfish TV.
They're all special episodes.
They are. We're very special over here. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 284, almost 285,000 subs. Fewer subs than Kotaku has on YouTube, but we get substantially more views than they get. In fact, G4 TV, when they were on the air, and we laughed about how abysmal their views were. They're really bad now because they're not posting anything. But they were, let's see here, when they were on, they were getting, million, 1,200,000, 500,000.
Negative 300,000.
Well, yeah, they dumped a bunch of videos, right? But this is when they were kind of, making their comeback and they were getting over 1 million views a month, right? Kotaku, which is still uploading, by the way, and we're going to talk about this. They're lucky if they get 10, 12, 20,000 views a day, right? But let's look at how many views a month they
wait,
get.
Wait. Before you do that, go back up for a minute. What I'm interested in seeing, keep going, is this.
Oh, they're losing subs.
Yeah, a lot.
Wow, they are losing.
It's like they're getting audited in real time.
It's like they're getting audited in real time, yeah. And they're still posting content. It's not like they're not posting content. So in fact, we'll talk about Polygon. Polygon gets more views than they do, and they haven't posted anything in a couple of months, which is curious too. So they went from, let's see, just a couple of years ago, they were getting a couple million views a month, and it's just been all downhill since then.
Ooh.
So they're at the same time that G4 was active, they were getting about a third of what G4 was getting.
Ooh.
And now we just keep on creeping down she goes. About 300. They're averaging about 300,000 video views a month.
A month, not a video, a month.
Per month. In fact, let's go out and see how they're doing. These are the most recent videos. Let's see, 1,000 views for God of War.
2 days ago.
2 days ago. 1.3 thousand views for The Witcher 3. These are all topics and games that people are searching for, by the way.
Now that one got a lot because it was about the Steam Deck.
20,000 views, though. That's not great. Chainsaw Man, which is very popular, 2.1 thousand views. Cringe Fail Anime Girl. That should get a lot of views right now. 4,000. 1.5 thousand. This is bad. Like, this is really, really, really bad.
Oh, look, limited run Astro City game.
Okay, so that's actually what kicked off my dig into Kotaku, was the situation with limited run. You can go watch the last couple of videos we did on that, because I'm like, oh, look, they're cross-promoting with Kotaku that they're doing. And I actually love this little Sega. I wanted to get one, but I'm like, I'm not buying it now.
Real quick, they have a Chainsaw Man's English language cast weighs in on subs versus dubs, and they got 894 views on Chainsaw Man. I mean, how? They got them there to talk about it.
I'm going to be honest.
I can't wrap my head around this.
I can wrap my head around it pretty good. And I'm telling you, I'm speculating. I think Kotaku is fake. I think there's a lot of numbers being propped up, and I think it all comes down to ad dollars. I don't think people are really watching or reading Kotaku like they used to. Now, I do think the website does better than the YouTube channel, obviously, but they do cross-promote this stuff. Mm-hmm. Website traffic is much easier to massage.
Yes.
Massage than YouTube. Because YouTube, again, if you were faking your YouTube numbers, well, you might get audited in real time.
I mean, not saying that they are, but it's a little weird.
Something's up. So let's, so I was floored. I was like, well, the Kotaku has to be doing okay. Because I know, like, IGN does pretty good, and they really don't have to try. They put videos out and they get, I don't know what they're getting. I think they were getting about 10 million views a month or something like that. But they're IGN. They put out a lot of content. They steal content from other, gaming journos too. But, on the whole, they put out a lot of content and they cross-promote with the website, which has been around for a long time. And Kotaku's been around for a long time. So let's talk about this, right? Layoffs. This is what I think is going on. This is what I think, speculation, I think is going on. They've been covering layoffs at other video game news websites, bigger sites than them, laying people off like nothing, just snap, boom, you're gone. They were talking about G4. They're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? IGN, Tencent shutting down sites that got more traffic than Kotaku does, right? Of course, we know the story about G4. They only had 1,000 viewers on TV on top of their not very good YouTube presence, right? Okay, so these companies aren't worth much.
No.
In fact, earlier this year, last year. What year are we on? It's 2023.
Yes.
2023. A whole cluster of video game websites that probably get more views than Kotaku got sold for $50 million. And a lot of it was because of GameFAQs and fandom and not the game sites per se, like the Giant Bomb and stuff like that. That's not, in the grand scheme of things, $50 million for a whole bunch of websites is not a lot of money.
No.
It really isn't. That's a fire sale, because I think CBS, if I remember correctly, they bought the whole thing for like $500 million. Yeah, $500 million. So just a couple of years ago, $500 million is what was paid for this cluster of sites, and it sold for 10% of that just 2 or 3 years later.
It's been like this. It's been going down for a while.
Again, lots of video game news sites laying people off, right?
Yes.
And in fact, Geo Media, they went on strike.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, the reason they went on strike was I believe to make sure they had parachutes when the axe fell.
Probably.
That is my opinion. Adweek. This is 2015. Gawker's Kotaku is helping Cheerios reach millennial gamers. Remember, guys, Kotaku was part of Gawker. What happened to Gawker? Anyone? Bueller? Bueller Geeky. What happened to Gawker? Hogan happened to Gawker. Yes, Gawker's journalistic integrity wound up getting them sued into oblivion by Hulk Hogan because they released a sex tape, and there was a big lawsuit, and that was something that became a very sore subject for a lot of these outlets. Now, when the whole GG thing was going on, they were still bankrolled by Gawker, and then Gawker got gone. The remainder of the websites that were under the Gawker umbrella, if I remember correctly, got sold. I think it was to Univision or something. And then they tried for years to find a buyer. They couldn't find a buyer. Nobody wanted to buy Kotaku.
Which tells me the numbers are shit.
Yes, and we're gonna talk about that because I don't think this site is turning a profit. In fact, they are shutting down. Let's see, their UK site, they shut that down. I think they shut down their Australian site.
People don't sell profitable businesses. And if they do sell profitable businesses, they sell quickly and they sell for a high price.
Yeah, they sell high. And that's kind of what happened with those video game sites, that cluster of video game sites. They sold for $500 million. They took the money and ran. Websites now are worth less than they were even a year ago.
I think this is funny, though. Or Kotaku UK was shutting down. Good.
So they've been shutting down by degrees. They've been lamenting all the layoffs at all of these other news outlets. Let's go look at their numbers. Now, this is speculation. Okay, and I don't believe this because they don't have their analytics.
They don't have their sources.
Yeah, Kotaku usually doesn't cite sources.
Well, they aren't citing the sources for the hits too. 18.1 million visits total, or is that monthly?
That is monthly.
Oh yeah, no.
So okay, let's look at this. One, this is a third party. This is SimilarWeb, which is pretty accurate if you connect your analytics to it. Here's the thing. I've looked at sites where I know what their traffic is, and they've way overinflated the traffic. They're speculating what the traffic is. There's no way to know unless you connect your website via analytics. A lot of people aren't going to do that. Bigger companies do because they want to be able to sell advertising and say, look, this is how many verified users we get per month. Somebody that doesn't want a potential advertiser to do their own research is not going to connect their analytics because they don't want you to know what their actual numbers are.
They'll tell you the exact numbers.
Right. Or the traffic sources. Now, I'm not saying they're doing this, but I will say from personal experience, having owned and operated multiple websites, it actually is relatively easy to buy traffic, and you can get it pretty cheap and you can target it the country that you want it to come from, and it fools Google. It looks like it's organic. You can actually have it come in and say, hey, we're looking for Game of Thrones news, and it's going to do a search on Google, and then it's going to hit your website. Now, what's the purpose of that? Because AdSense doesn't like it, and it's usually like AdSense proof traffic. And it doesn't have any bearing on that ad revenue because you're not really screwing over AdSense because it's going to throw that out. If you're selling direct advertising, those numbers look pretty impressive. If you don't actually do a breakdown for your potential advertiser where the traffic is coming from and tell them that maybe a good chunk of your traffic is purchased, you know what I'm saying? Because I found this. This is really interesting. Just like a month ago, was it? Yeah, a couple months ago. GeoMedia.
That was a few months ago, but okay. We always have a debate about what a few and a couple are.
Okay, few months ago. It was last quarter, whatever. GeoMedia is so desperate for advertising that they're offering a money-back guarantee if you don't get results, if you buy ads directly through them.
That is interesting.
Okay, most people are not going to see this because this is Ad Week, which we have a subscription to because we do marketing and junk like that. You don't do this unless you're really effing hard up for advertising. So I'm going to speculate because I know what the Google ad rates are like right now. I know what the banner ad rates are like right now. I know what our YouTube ad rates are like right now, and they're not good. I don't think Kotaku is getting nearly as much organic traffic that you can monetize via AdSense. I think what they could potentially be doing, based on the lack of interaction and the lack of interest on YouTube, because it would be across the board, the site's doing well, your videos usually do well. Again, you can go to IGN, you can see that there's some parity there. It is possible that somebody over there is inflating the numbers because they're going to try to sell people advertising directly because they're not making it on AdSense. It is possible. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but I'm saying if you're so desperate to keep your site running that you're going to go out there and be like, hey guys, we get like 18 million views a month and you're going to give us like a lot of money, and let's see what they're charging. They're charging a lot of money.
The flip side is they're offering money back guarantee. They're going to lose a lot of money if they don't deliver. But that's where the, whole, here's some traffic. We're not showing where they came from.
Okay, so that's another thing you can do. You can actually have traffic come in your website and click on a certain keyword and then go to a certain page. And then from that page, you can direct it to go to your client's page and like, look at all the outclicks.
Yeah.
This is what Facebook got busted for.
Yeah, we may or may not have had people that did stuff like this and they got removed from the site.
May or may not have had people attempt to pull the wool over our eyes on one of our websites to get a view bonus. And that person may or may not be with us anymore. I'm just saying it's, you start to look for things in the analytics and you can see, hey, what are the odds of the exact same number of searches for this term every damn day coming from effectively the same location, going to basically the same page. Now the other...
At specific times.
Right?
Yeah.
And what are the odds of having exactly the same number of people on the site at the same time on an English page coming from the US at 3 o'clock in the morning, statistically, and they're all using iPhones.
I mean, it's just,
what I'm saying? Like, it's statistically improbable, right? So, again, this is speculation on my part, but I'm looking at this and I'm like, usually when a site or a media outlet is healthy, the whole thing is healthy. And it is much easier to fake traffic on your website. And then if you're going to go out there and hose the advertisers, and what they're going to do is be like, well, Kotaku is one of the biggest things out there. But Sony, you're going to give us tons of money.
We're going out to Kotaku, like we're Twitter, like, okay, well, let's look at another measurement. Okay. What's their interaction like on Twitter? Okay, because they're claiming they have, how many subs they claim they have?
I think like 1 million? 2.2 million.
Okay,
2.2 million
subs. Let's go through some of their posts, okay? So they're posting these things, go down. Let's just go look at some of these things. But they're supposed to be claiming they're getting 24,700 views on it, but they only got 40 likes.
Look at this. This is a Nintendo sale, Switch sale, right?
30,000
views, 7 comments, and 33 likes.
You can fake that too. Anyway, go down. What else they said about smells in video games? This one got 103 likes, 23 comments. It's supposed to be 83.8 thousand views? And that's all the interaction it got? That's it?
Yeah.
We get more interaction on that,
Personal.
A couple thousand views than these people are getting on 81,000 views, 51,000 views.
Something is not adding up here.
It's a little weird.
I am speculating.
I'm just because we could come out here and if it was they're getting all kinds of
thousands of views, thousands
I'd be
of retweets.
Okay, well maybe it's just that one element of their business isn't doing well, but everything else is doing fine. But we're seeing it here and it's not adding up.
You're going to tell me that a story about GameStop on Kotaku, GameStop L, is only getting 16 retweets, 3 comments, and 84 likes when it had 36,000 views.
Allegedly.
11 retweets. 2. Fire Emblem, 35,000 views. Crappy mobile games, 6 retweets. These are amateur numbers, even for an individual streamer on YouTube. I'm not saying they're buying traffic. I'm not saying they're doing something that could potentially trick their advertisers into thinking they're getting a lot more interaction and views than they are. But this does not look good. Again.
But we're going, We're not saying it, but we're going, there's that Nintendo sale again. 34.4 thousand views. 36 likes on the big Nintendo sale. Doesn't make sense.
God of War. God of War video clip, 29,000 views, 4 comments, 6 retweets, 62 likes.
I mean, it's weird.
Not adding up for the amount of influence that this company, this publication has. Now, here's what I think. What I think is actually going on.
Even the big Clue debacle. 56. I mean, even though I don't think it's that big a deal personally. 56.8 thousand, supposedly 106 likes, 25 comments, 21 retweets.
I think she's on Food Network, isn't she?
No.
This is not good. Trigun. They got a little bit more, but you know what I'm saying?
It's still
wrestling. Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon returning to the WWE, which is huge news for wrestling fans. 60 likes, 20 retweets,
17 comments on 55.2 thousand alleged views.
Overwatch.
It's weird.
It's not adding up. The numbers are not adding up. And again, as somebody who has run websites for a number of years, and I do not do anything underhanded because there's no long-term benefit to it.
No,
unless
it actually bites you in the ass.
It always bites you in the ass. Unless you're gaming it, no pun intended, to try to get advertisers to jump into the boat, which was my first thought. I'm like, well, what's the benefit? Because if you're using AdSense, you're not going to get
right.
That
There's no point. I mean, unless you're trying to brag about your numbers, there's really no point because you're not going to make any money if it's not real.
Well, didn't take long to find this. They're selling ads directly.
We've been doing websites for a long time. I mean, that's we look at, like, how you're monetizing it. Okay, if you're not doing AdSense because the rates are down and everybody's complaining about rates being down, and you're trying to make money and you're supposed to be making all this money, where are you going to go? You're going to do direct ad sales.
Yes.
So that's, you just follow the way it goes, the way to monetization.
Yeah, either people do memberships or they do ad sales, and a lot of these websites, these garbage tier websites, have been attacking.
Why they have shitty writers because they can't afford.
Yeah, why not do Kotaku Plus? Well, they can't do Kotaku Plus because nobody's going to subscribe to it. So what are you going to do? You're going to convince people that Kotaku is the most influential video game blog out there.
Again, they could barely sell it.
They could barely sell it.
Took them a while to find a buyer.
It's like 2 or 3 years, I think, to sell it.
And if the site was getting as much traffic as they claimed, as making as much money as they claimed, and was so profitable and so well, it would not have taken that long to find a buyer.
So to keep things running, you're gonna spread the story.
They spread some stuff.
I'm sure there's a lot of spreading over there, and that's kicked off Gamergate, but that's a whole nother thing.
I meant like shit.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna perpetuate the story that Kotaku is still this super influential website. That it's just like every gamer worth their salt listens to Kotaku. If you want to be somebody in the gaming industry, you have to advertise with Kotaku. That's how you get seen, because we plaster Kotaku and Polygon and IGN, all that shit on the boxes of the games, and everybody knows Kotaku, and it's a well-respected brand and journalistic integrity and all that shit. Then you go out there and you sell a bunch of ads to stupid game developers who aren't paying attention to this stuff because they're probably thinking,
but they aren't
it's
even
Kotaku.
Running it. It could be an agency they hired to run it.
It could be an agency. Well, I've worked for agencies, and a lot of times, I'm going to be honest, a lot of times they will buy a package, and that's what they're selling. GeoMedia is basically selling a package across their websites.
You see how I did that there?
Yeah, I see how you did. See, you're smart. Kiki is very smart.
Now he's very, very excited.
I am. This makes me really excited. Because the more I look into this,
talk business to me.
As a former journalist and as a marketing person and as a business owner who deals primarily in online businesses, this whole thing stinks to high heaven. But
we're not
saying that's what's going on here. But there is something going on here. So yeah,
there's some weirdness.
They're so confident that your direct ad buys are going to work every time, that they will give you your money back. But you have to have a minimum spend. GeoMedia Works measures brand lift and brand lift. Define that, please. And requires a minimum spend.
See, most people don't speak this.
Okay. Brand lift doesn't mean sales. Brand lift means, oh, look, you got more mentions on social media. Oh, look.
Oh, you mean on Twitter?
Yes.
Where they're getting a lot of views, but they aren't getting much interaction, which makes me go,
Or we blasted out, the link to different websites, and then we got a
newsletter or something.
Newsletter or something like that. The initiative, which has no fixed expiration date, works to measure brand lift metrics rather than pure performance targets like clicks or sign. Holy shit. Holy shit. If I were an advertiser and this were the language used to get me to come on board, and I'm re-recording this part because my first reaction, Geeky's like, is going to get us sued. If I were an advertiser and they came to me and said, well, we have a guarantee that you'll get brand lift. Doesn't mean you're going to get clicks. It doesn't mean you're going to get sales, but we'll make sure your brand is lifted and you have to spend X number of dollars.
Then how do you, okay, if you're doing it by brand lift and you know, I don't know what their metrics are for this. You know, how can the advertiser get their money back? Because what is the rubric they're using for this to measure your brand lift? It could be like nebulous things that makes it hard for you to get your money back.
It's mutually agreed upon research company. So basically what they're going to do, and there are services out there, and again, being a marketing person, I know this, there are services out there that you can actually plug in your company's name and they will show you all the places your company is named, positive or negative. And that's what a lot of these marketing people go by. And that's the same with the Star Wars debacle and shit. They were just out there looking for like The Last Jedi. They weren't really paying attention. Like, oh my God, The Last Jedi must be really popular.
Oh, they weren't paying attention to what context it was used in. Like your company's mentioned a bunch of times, but when you actually read the comments, it's already saying they're a bunch of shit. But it was mentioned a bunch of times. Right.
It could be like, oh my God, guys, look how many YouTube videos are being made about The Last Jedi. Oh my God, this is amazing interaction. This is amazing brand lift. Everybody knows about The Last Jedi. This is great. This is fantastic. This is kind of like when DC did their fandom event and they were actually using YouTubers' videos as part of their...
Oh, they were counting the numbers?
Counting it for numbers. And that's what marketing people do. Marketing's a shell game. It is. It's.
What was that movie called? That was really funny.
Crazy People.
Crazy People. It's like that.
Best damn movie about marketing ever made. Anyway, they're boxy, but they're good. Sobs. Okay. Anyway, to participate, clients first choose 3 of 5 available metrics: awareness, consumer consideration, favorability, message association, and purchase intent, not sales. Purchase intent. Once they have selected their 3 preferred criteria, the advertiser in Geo Media selects a mutually agreed upon research company to analyze the effectiveness of their target campaign. It often works with the measurement firm Lucid, but it will work with any reputable, comparably priced third-party evaluator.
Comparably priced.
Once the campaign is run, GeoMediaWorks guarantees that at least one of the 3 selected metrics will experience a statistically significant lift in the category.
Wait. So all I have to do is hit one of those in lift.
Yes.
And then you can't get your money back.
It can just be brand. It can just be brand awareness. It could just be like, oh, look, your company was mentioned 1,000 times on message boards or whatever. Okay, we're gonna keep your money. You have to have a minimum spend. I'm not saying there's something weird going on here. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying if I were an advertiser, I'd be damn worried about spending any money on Kotaku, especially Geo Media, because it sounds to me like they got quite the shell game going on over there. That is my opinion. And I'm covering my butt. But if you showed me this shit, if you put this on my desk when I was a media buyer and you said, well, this is how we measure, I'd be like, get the fuck out of my office with this shit. You show me sales numbers, you show me sales, you show me where you got bookings or whatever the target was for the client. You're like, well, we got some lift and some boost and some buzz.
But we only have to hit one of those the 3 criteria you select.
So the other source of traffic, honestly, for Kotaku, and I thought about this too, could just be their archives. It could be that they've got a lot of game tips out there from years ago and people are finding it. But then I went out to search and I'm like, they're not even showing up on the front page for a lot of stuff. Like I'm just like Zelda tips and whatever, and you're getting Game Facts, which again, we saw Game Facts wasn't worth that much now because it got bundled up for like $50 million. And you've got other sites, YouTube videos. YouTube videos are actually the top search result for game tips and walkthroughs now. And, Kotaku is doing really, really good on YouTube. They're doing so good on YouTube. So I have a theory, and I'm telling you, I think all of these Gestapo techniques, these fear techniques, I think these journalists working for Kotaku know damn well the end is near, that if they're going to get shut down or sold off, it's going to be this year, and they're going to go out with a bang. They're going to go out, they're going to try to kick up Gamergate 2.0 if they have to, just to drive traffic to the website, if for no other reason, just to be as vindictive as possible and burn as many YouTubers and naysayers on the way out as they possibly can.
Remember, this Kotaku was the site that did a review of the Xbox Series X, but they were mad because there was too many holes.
Yeah, there are too many holes. Too many holes. There are too many holes in what I'm seeing in the numbers. And I don't know if anybody else has really dug into this too much. I'm sure there are people out there that are better at this sort of thing than I am. But if you start digging and you start putting all these pieces together, this paints a bigger picture of a publisher that is in deep, deep shit. And the reason that they have everybody... Alleged shit. It could just be chocolate. We don't know what it is. And I think what they're doing is they're trying to assert their... Like, we're Kotaku. Look how much...
It's like Scrappy Doo.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like, I'm going to assert my dominance, but everybody hates me.
All Kotaku has to do is threaten action, and look how quickly those chuds...
What? Because they put their name's integrity on there? Well, it was really kind of shitty what they did. But then they're talking about how they're mad about their journalistic integrity being questioned. Meanwhile, their authors are running with articles naming people and saying that they're like, you know, Gamergate and all this other crap. It doesn't matter if it's true or not.
Troy Levitt's being defamed. I mean, the developer of Hogwarts Legacy is literally being... I would have been fired if I had put something like that in a newspaper. They literally said in an article from like a week ago regarding Hogwarts Legacy, they didn't even have to bring him up at all.
Yeah, there's no reason to.
He's been off the game for years, but they name checked him and they made sure that they tied him to the alt-right and to Gamergate and said it as fact. They
was trying to tie us to both those things, and we're neither.
No. But
not talking, just people in general.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sure they will now, but you know.
I'm telling you the truth. I don't think Kotaku has any real power. I think they kibitz
it's smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors.
It's the Wizard of Oz.
They are the wizard.
They're going to see the wizard, and it's all a bunch of, you know, shit.
They're the wizards of ass. Am I right?
That sounds like someone that'd be good at it, though. I'm sorry.
Hey, baby, you want to go out with me? I'm the wizard of ass. You want to know why?
Why?
See you Friday night. I'll show you how. I'll show you a magic trick. Make it disappear. Alakazam. All right. Are we gonna wrap this up?
Yes.
So I think, you know, speaking of anal, I think Kotaku is taking their advertisers from behind. That's all I'm saying. I think they are. We would not think that was a very good deal. I don't think it's a very good deal. I think there's something going on, and I think other people should take a look into this because it doesn't make sense. The numbers, the interaction, all of it, you put it together, it doesn't make sense. Mm-mm. All right, gonna wrap it up?
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.